Geography hardly mattered. The commonality of the letter writers' shared experience mattered a lot, probably even more than any of them could grasp at the time. Many of them were middle-aged or older, the graceful loops of motherly handwriting somehow easily distinguishable from the clumsier, blockier writing of the fathers, an odd but readily identifiable distinction between most female and male handwriting that remains no less a mystery today. The addressee was almost always Major General Paul Muller, commander of the 81st Infantry Division, whose outfit had just taken Angour, a tiny limestone island all of 3 square miles in size, located in the Palau Islands. Angour was roughly 5,142 miles from San Francisco, 600 miles from Manila, and perhaps of most significance, 1,400 miles from Tokyo. It was also 8,017 miles from Philadelphia and 7,233 miles from Pocahontas, Illinois, something the letter writers who came from these places may or may not have known. Regardless, the place was distant, alien, anonymous, and seemingly insignificant. Except that it was not. The sons, brothers, and husbands of those mournful writers all experienced their last moments of life on Angour. In total, there were 264 of them. Most were buried on the island, in a carefully plotted temporary cemetery, lovingly and respectfully maintained by their comrades. Each grave was marked with a small, inscribed wooden cross. Like a faithful sentinel, a modest chapel loomed over the rows of crosses. At Muller's behest, division photographers took snapshots of the grave sites and mailed them to the next of kin. In response, the family members wrote scores of appreciative letters, expressing the full range of human emotion in time of loss. Mrs. Alice Rathburn, lamenting the death of her youngest son Tommy, wrote that, "It was an awful blow, but I'm trying not to let it get the best of me. It is awful hard, though. I'd looked forward to when this war would end and we could be together, for I'm a widow, and his homecoming would have meant so much to me. Now it can never be." Some, like Mary Cann, sister of Lieutenant Joseph Cann, a 27-year-old artillery officer who was killed by a sniper, found some comfort in religious devotion. "Upheld by our Christian faith," she wrote of her family, "the grief has been mitigated by our belief in his present safety and happiness under our supreme commander." Mrs. Marie Houghton, wife of Donald, was disappointed in the paucity of personal effects she received after his death. "Nothing could have made me more blue. All I got was a barracks bag, tie, baseball glove, and a few other odds and ends." She wondered, apparently in vain, over the whereabouts of his wallet and personal pictures. The mother of Private First Class, PFC, Leon Vaughn, was proud of his courage in carrying out the mission that cost his life. "I can hardly realize it's true. Like all mothers, I worshipped my son." Many others wondered about the last words or the last actions of loved ones. "I would love so much to know if he died conscious of his condition," Mrs. Florence Goes wrote of her son Kenneth. "Please tell how I can find out." Lieutenant Colonel P. M. Hickox, the division chaplain, obligingly replied that Kenneth had been shot to death while serving as a litter-bearer. The shot was true, and Kenneth pitched forward to the ground. Medical aid was summoned, but Kenneth did not speak a word. Death was practically instantaneous, and there was no evidence that he knew of his condition or suffered at all. Edith Wilson, who had just lost a son killed in Italy, was devastated by the death of her other son, PFC Carl Wilson, on Angour, though she took solace in the fact that at least she knew where he was buried. "Carl was a grand boy, and I just can't hardly believe they both have been taken from me." Mrs. Anna Clapper was the widow of a World War I veteran. Her son, PFC Drexel Clapper, was badly wounded on the first day of the invasion and evacuated to a hospital ship, where he died. His loss nearly took away her will to go on living. "There are no words in my heart that I could write because life seems worthless without my boy." She proudly affixed a gold star, a universal symbol during the war for the death of a loved one, next to her signature. Tech Sergeant Tom Bolden's older sister Adeline, who had practically raised him, could not help but feel anger at the Japanese who had killed him.